Good evening, my beautiful soul followers. How is everyone on this amazing Friday evening? It is hot here in Texas. I feel like I'm about to melt. I got my face all done, my hair all done, ready to go out for a beautiful evening. And I'm like, I'm melting. It's hot. But it has been so incredibly juicy the last week. I can honestly say that the last week has been so vulnerable for me. So incredibly vulnerable. So many things coming into my life that I've really had to breathe into, and I've noticed the vulnerability as it's coming up, and sometimes the vulnerability has come with some shame. Yes, even the sex coach sometimes has to deal with her shame, has to deal with those old monkey mind programs. But I've had all this vulnerability coming up, and I've been writing a ton about desire. And yesterday I was sitting with a beautiful soul friend, and I was sharing about some of my desires, some of my heart's desires. I was even sharing about some of my sexual desires, and I was just really opening my heart up and just being really truthful and really real. And as I was sharing, there was this moment I couldn't even look my friend in the eye. I was like, no, I can't even look. And I had to stop, and I had to breathe into my solar plexus, and I had to really just like release that shame, release that worry, that concern of what she was going to think, and what she was, just all the things, what I thought. It actually came down to more what I thought, because I have beautiful friends around me that love me. And I was breathing in, and I realized this is the most beautiful thing, this vulnerability, because without vulnerability, we don't have desire. And then I was doing a amazing bodywork session, some energy work. For those who don't know what that is, it's just energy work, working with the chakras. But it got so vulnerable and so intense in this session, doing this session, not because we were speaking anything, not because we were doing anything, except for energy work, but the heart space that was coming in this session, this heart opening that was happening actually for both myself and for this client. I was running the energy, and I could just feel my own vulnerability in the energy. The vulnerability of the energy of, am I going to take this energy up just a notch and open up my heart and really dive in? And that's what vulnerability is. It's that diving into our heart space. It's allowing ourselves to be seen. Something that we all want, we all crave. I want to be seen, I want to be loved for just who I am. But the fact is, we want this. We have these beautiful desires that I speak about connecting to your heart and connecting to your genitals, your pussy, your cock, whatever it is. But we forget that there's a vulnerability piece to it. And sometimes that's not always, I don't want to say it's not fun, because if you recognize it, if you can get into a witness stance, you can go, that's some vulnerability there, and it can be such a beautiful piece. It can be such a trust-building piece. We have these desires, and I know so many people have these sexual desires. Well, guess what? We first have to get vulnerable with right here, in order to tap into those desires. Because if we're not vulnerable with ourselves, vulnerable and willing to see ourselves, then how are we going to be vulnerable and willing to see another, or to allow ourselves to be seen by another, and to share those desires, whatever those desires are, whether there's something you're really wanting to try in the bedroom, something sexy and fun and exciting, or whether it is simply just sharing your vulnerability of your emotion or where you're at and being real, not being in this space of bullshit that we so often see online, where we're not being real and, oh, we're all fake, hi, I'm perfect. Guess what? guess what? We all have shit. We all have emotions. I told you that. I mean, this week, there was one moment I was just like crying. I was crying, and I let a guy friend really just see me crying and have this moment of holding space for me, because he just had to sit there and he breathed, and he's like, it's gonna be okay, Addison, it's gonna be okay. He just let me have my moment of emotion, and it was so trust building. It was so beautiful. But even in our play, even in our joy, we have to step into this space of vulnerability. We want to be seen. We want to be known. But the fact is that comes with us having an expectation for ourselves to be vulnerable and to be ourselves. I can tell you, over the last 6 months, it has been amazing. It has been amazing. I've done so much inner work, and not that I was disconnected from myself prior, but I've seen myself really come into a new level of self. And guess what? That takes fucking vulnerability to tap in. And I'm watching my clients do the same. There has been so much over the last few years with COVID and all that. I feel like we've all put on armor. Well, guess what, guys? Guess what? It is time to take off your armor. It is time to allow other people to see you, because you won't have your desire. You won't truly have your desire, because our desires come from here, unless we step into the vulnerability, unless we allow ourselves to go there. So, and sometimes we need somebody to guide us. So if you're interested, you can check out my chat link in the copy below. Can jump on a quick chat. We can talk about how to move you into the next level of vulnerability and desire. You know, I want you to, even below, just post a moment where you've had some really true heart-centered vulnerability lately. I want to hear the vulnerability, okay? Because nobody's life is perfect. You know, we have beauty. We can experience the beauty. If we want that orgasmic life, we have to have the lower points of that wave. And that's oftentimes that vulnerability. We have to have the vulnerability to hit that peak. So yeah. And other than that, I just hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Amazing day. Go tap into your heart space. Go tap into yourself, and allow others to see you today. All right, guys, go grab that fire within. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow for another Addison Unleashed. Blessings.